give this to you straight because I couldn't.
Yeah, I just wanna feel you. I want you around.
Hey y'all, this is Brittney Giselle and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all the love and all the support, all the comments, everything that I got on the last VSG video that I posted. This VSG video is going to be more so of a Q&A, kind of a follow-up. I got a few requests to do a second portion of the video, so I decided to do a Q&A. I posted on my Instagram stories, asked for people to ask questions there, and also on my YouTube community tab. So I'm going to go ahead and answer those questions, but I just have to say thank you again for all of the love, support, for everyone that went on that last video, shared their experiences, gave nothing but positive feedback. I appreciate you all so much. Before we get into the video, I want to say, if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like and comment down below, and also hit that notification bell and click all so that you always get notified when I upload. Let's go ahead and jump into these questions. Someone asked, what are some must-haves before surgery? And I would have to say, prior to surgery, you definitely want to have measuring cups, food scales, protein shakes or protein mix to make your shakes, all of those kinds of things, all of the food that you're going to need throughout all of your stages, like your first stages after surgery. You definitely want to have those on hand and ready so you don't have to stress or worry about going to get those things. And besides the physical stuff, you want to mentally be prepared for all of the changes that are going to come. And let me tell you, I'm going to say that a lot because the mental part of this process is so important. And the last I would say is your support system. You definitely want to have your support system locked down, because your support system is going to be everything going through the process prior to surgery and after surgery. So definitely keep that in mind. You want to make sure you have a good and positive support system. Next is, what are some things that no one talks about? Honestly, for me, the biggest thing that I didn't hear many people talk about were all of the hormonal changes. And again, every situation is on a case-by-case basis. Like, we all experience different things. But for me, I feel like my hormones flared up in a way that I've never experienced them before. Now, I also mentioned in my previous video that I do have PCOS and an underactive thyroid. So I feel like those symptoms of mine stemmed from that. But I was not ready for all of the hormone changes that came, which included acne, it included fatigue, issues with my period, birth control problems, a lot of different things that came up. But most importantly for me was the acne. I was not ready for that at all. And then also mental changes. Like I said, I was going to be talking about this a lot. Mentally, I had to go through a lot of different things. I also mentioned in my last one that I had to do therapy prior. And although I went through the therapy, I just think that nothing anyone says or does can really get you prepared through the changes that you're going to go mentally through the process. Even though if you think in your head you're prepared for it, there's still things that you're going to feel that you never felt before. So your mind is going to change and shift back and forth. Maybe think whether you're having regrets or be extremely excited that you're going through this process. So many things that can come from that. But those are the main two things that I would say no one talks about much, is hormonal changes and the mental changes. Someone asked, what are some unknown side effects? And I'm going to give this to you straight because this is something that I never in my life knew anything about gallbladder issues. So that is my very first one. I had an extensive issue with gallbladder after my surgery. I would say about a year or so later, I started getting really bad pains. Didn't know, like, I went to the ER. They didn't know what was happening. I ended up going back to the ER. Then they did more testing because it was my second time there. And they told me that I was having gallbladder issues. I heard of gallstones before, never knew about gallbladder. It's just something I wasn't aware of. And I was scared when they told me I had to have, I was just nervous to have another surgery. And then this is just something I needed to do research on, to learn about. It was also new to me. And I said, no, I'm not I'm not getting that. I'll just, you know, try to figure some things out. So trying to change the diet, learning more about it, things like that. Fast forward, I ended up having to get an emergency gallbladder removal because the pain was excruciating. It was so bad. I was not ready for that at all. So that is something that I would suggest is anyone that is going through the process and has not gotten their surgery yet, definitely bring that up to your doctor. Ask them if that's something they can talk to you about, because my doctor told me that some people actually get their gallbladder removed when they get their weight loss surgery if it's a known issue to them. So definitely bring that up to your doctor if you have not gone through surgery yet. Even if you have, bring it up, say what are some things I can do to maybe, you know, not have those issues in the future, hopefully. That I would say is an unknown side effect, gallbladder issues, number one. And besides that one, I would say hair loss and acne. I feel like I've heard half and half. A lot of people experience hair loss and then a lot of people don't. So I feel like it's in the middle. I'm one of those people that I definitely experienced hair loss. So that, along with acne, I don't know. I haven't heard of many people experiencing terrible acne problems, but my acne was so bad. Again, I said it flared up. As a teenager, I never experienced acne issues. So going through this process after weight loss surgery and having all of those hormone changes that acne come, it was terrible. It was painful. It's still something that I struggle with, but it has gotten better. But that is something to keep in mind. If you start getting acne issues, definitely talk to your doctor about it. All right, so this one seems to be a little bit of a trend here, but someone asked, can you talk about hormonal imbalances, which is exactly what I was just talking about. I dealt with acne, I dealt with fatigue, cramps, periods, things like that. It's just, I feel like it's either you experience it or you don't, or I don't know if there's really like a middle to it, but there are people that I've never heard mention those issues, and then there are people that I have heard mention them a lot. And it also depends a lot on your body chemistry, your underlying health issues, whatever you have going on internally, and how the surgery reacts to it. So it's definitely going to be something that's a different experience for everybody. I have heard some people talk about what they've gone through with hormonal imbalances through this process, and then there are people that haven't mentioned it at all. So I would definitely say it's like a case-by-case situation. But if you know you have an underlying health issue that is kind of intertwined with your hormones, definitely talk to your doctor about it to see what you can do, because it is something that's stressful to go through. But there are some things out there that you can do to treat them or to manage them. Definitely talk to your health professional about it. Another question is, what are some things that you had to mentally prepare for? And I would say these are all things that I thought about ahead of time, but it's still a different feeling and thought when you're actually going through it. The first one, body dysmorphia, as I mentioned in my last video, that's something that I kind of anticipated and knew may happen. I just knew there were going to be changes with my body regardless of anything, but I didn't know how it would make me feel. So regardless of how much I tried to prepare for it, it still wasn't what I was expecting. Like the way my mind and my body felt were totally different. Besides that, I would say my eating habits, making healthier choices, eating portions, eating slower, and getting full fast. I know they told us, like in my program, they said you will get full fast. So it's like we had to learn to slow down in eating, which I'm a fast eater. So that was really, really hard. Practicing that was something that I was like mentally, you know, preparing to do in the future, and just stopping as soon as I felt that I was full, because that was hard for me. Like I would just eat, even if I didn't necessarily feel full. Like I just grew up in culturally, we had to finish our plates. Like whatever you get served on your plate, you're gonna eat it. So I think trying to get that out of my head and listening to my body and my stomach when it's saying you're full and stopping, that's something that was hard, but it was something that was definitely helpful and useful going through the process because I had started practicing it already. How was it socializing after surgery? So personally for me, it was a little hard, but it wasn't necessarily terrible. It took me a while before I went out and like actually started socializing. So when I think of socializing, I don't really do too much. I mean, I would go out to eat or, you know, go out to the bar or a club once in a while, not too much. But as far as when I think of like socializing after surgery, I think of like the eating part, going out to eat with friends. It was hard, but when I was ready to do it, I just made sure that whoever I was with, I would tell them, hey, I might get done eating before you, but I just want to let you know I'm not in a rush. Like, I am here to enjoy my time, our time together. But I just want to make you aware that if I get done and I box up my food, I'm not rushing you. I'm here to chill. I'm just full. I just get full fast. So keeping that in mind to remind whoever you're out with, so that way they don't feel bad, or not necessarily feel bad, but I just didn't want to ever make anyone feel rushed to go and leave where we were because I was done eating. It's just that I got full fast and I couldn't eat my whole meal there. So that's the one thing that I could really think of as far as socializing. Besides that, drinking. When it came to drinking alcohol, I thought I was ready to drink alcohol. And let me tell you, I wasn't. I used to be like, I was able to drink. I had a high tolerance. After surgery, they said you will have a low tolerance to alcohol. Your body has completely, you know, it's changed a lot internally. And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. But I really thought I could handle my liquor. But in reality, I couldn't. I got drunk so fast. It was bad. So I would say definitely try your best to just take it a little bit at a time to test yourself, because I went out, I drank, I got drunk, I didn't know when to stop, and it happened so fast. It was, my tolerance definitely got really, really low, although my tolerance used to be really high prior to. So that changed a lot. Along with the socializing, someone asked, when did you feel like you were ready to go out to eat after surgery? And I would say maybe 5 or 6 months. Definitely sometime after, I can't remember exactly, but sometime after I was able to eat like full on solids. So about 5 or 6 months later, I can't remember how long exactly it was after, but I know it was definitely some time. And that's something that is just like, you'll feel it. You'll know when you can handle to be outdoors, eating with people, enjoying yourself. Don't rush it. Take your time. Trust me, you will have many more times in the future to be able to go out and socialize, eat, hang, all that. But you have to give your body the time to get back to that point. All right, this next one is funny. Someone said, attention from men, ? Honestly, I have to say, for me, it didn't really change much. I'm never like a seeker for attention. So even if I did get maybe more attention, I didn't really notice it. I'm kind of just like more preserved, shy. I'm an introvert. So I don't know. I can't really say anything changed for me in that aspect. If someone was interested in me prior to surgery, cool. If someone was interested in me after, and it was just a mutual thing, fine. But I never like yearned to be noticed, or I didn't lose weight to get attention from men, or, you know, whatever, to feel sexier. I did it for different reasons. So if you did not watch my first video, which I've mentioned a few times already, definitely go make sure you watch that as to see why, like my reasoning for getting it. But yeah, as far as attention, that's not why I did it. So nothing really changed. Another question is, do you regret it, or would you do things differently? The answer would be no, and I did talk about that in my initial video. Again, definitely go and check that out if you haven't yet. Overall, I'm happy that I went through the process and that I've gone through these experiences, but that is it itself. Like, it's just going to be an experience of a lifetime. Like, you're going to go through a lot of changes. So we have yet to see what's going to happen in the future, but I'm just here to tell you what has happened so far in my first 6 years. All right, this is a good question. It was, did you have a workout routine after surgery to tighten your skin? Y'all, my answer is no. And I really wish I would have. That's like one of the regrets that I have, or things that I would do differently, is I would have worked out more. Honestly, at that point in my time in my life, I hated working out. I still at this point don't love it, but I do it more often. I did not enjoy working out at all. I did do some at-home workouts and I tried to stay active. I walked and I did some jogging. I got to a point a little bit that I could run for maybe like half a mile without getting tired, but running and jogging, I was never really it. I never liked being a super active person, which was hard when it came to this because I had to bring some activeness to my body. I would have definitely worked on whatever workouts there were to tighten certain parts of my body. So like my inner thighs, my belly, my underarms, my back fat. I would have worked on those things if I would have known. I don't know how to explain it, but those are things that I would have worked on. Unfortunately, I didn't work on those things, but I really wish I would have. So those are things that I'm working on now. Next is, are you able to eat what you want? And the answer to that I would say is yes and no. Yes, because I can tolerate most things and I can eat most things. And then no, because there are some things that my body just doesn't agree with. So like super greasy foods, I can't, especially since my gallbladder has been gone. It's been a no-no. And then also dairy, my body has changed a lot in the past few years and dairy has just not been it. So yes and no. I mean, everyone is different again, but those are just my things that I have not been able to really tolerate much. Besides that, as far as protein, I can eat most protein. I love meats. Fish and like seafood, I just haven't. It's just not my thing. I've tried it and I have to be in a really big mood to eat that. But so it's not that I can't tolerate it. I know those are like the leaner proteins to go towards, but I personally I don't like them. So I just try to stick to like chicken a lot. I do a lot of chicken, steak. I feel like steak is another one that is like, at first it was hard. I love steak. And at first, when I first started trying to, go out and eat or cook steak, it was no. But slowly I've been able to tolerate it more. This next one is good. So it's, how was recovery after and your pain levels? I have to say it's not as bad as I expected. My anxiety definitely got the best of me because I was super anxious, nervous, scared, and it didn't turn out to be that bad. But when it comes to comparison to the gallbladder surgery, y'all, that gallbladder surgery, that process after, the recovery process took me out. I dreaded that so much. Like, the fact that I already didn't want to go through it because I'm just scared of surgeries. Before VSG, I never had any like major surgeries besides a C-section. So I had that was an emergency that had to happen fast. My anxiety was crazy then. That gallbladder one was definitely worse. I don't know what else to compare to it. C-section, I don't know, that was so long ago. I would say that was a tough recovery. I think for me, it's more so like mentally, like I can handle pain, but the pain of that gallbladder, that topped all of my surgeries. That one was hard. That was painful. But overall, the VSG surgery, that one, it's doable. It's not as bad. If you have a high pain tolerance, you will be just fine. I think for me, it was just mentally like going into getting prepared to go into the operating room. It was all a mental thing for me. Like my mind can get the best of me at times. And then just remembering to like keep your constant, like the walking and just stay active after surgery so you don't get blood clots and stuff like that. That was important. So I made sure, like, even though I was in pain and aching, I still made sure that I got up and did like my walks back and forth because you don't want to get blood clots. I never experienced it, but I heard that you don't want to get them because they're super painful. The last question is, how fast did you start losing weight after surgery? So for me, I lost weight pretty quickly. I lost 20 pounds in my first month. I don't know if that's compared to other people, if that's like normal, if that's an average, but to me, I feel like within 1 month, within 30 days to lose 20 pounds, and I was already losing weight prior to surgery, that was a big difference for me. Now, within the first 10 months, I had reached my lowest weight, which was 186. That's when my body dysmorphia kicked in. So from the time that I started the program, I had to be in the program for 6 months, and then the 10 months after that. So within about a year and a half in total, I lost about 100 pounds. And that was a lot of weight to go. Like, just my body changed so drastically. I was not ready to lose that much that fast. But I will say that's what happened. That's how much I lost. So my weight was falling off pretty quickly. All right, y'all, so we have reached the end of this video. Thank you all so much for everyone that sent in questions. It was really appreciated, because without your questions, I wouldn't have been able to give accurate answers to what people really want to hear. So thank you again. Thank you for everyone that watched the video. If you haven't yet, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, like and comment down below. Let me know what you think of these videos. Do you want to hear more about VSG? Let me know what your experiences were down below, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Bye. I messed up. Why can't I talk? Why do I always mess up?